I wanted to ask you about any embarrassing moments.
Okay, so there's been a few. One time I was presenting at AY Live. AY is a really big comedian in Nigeria, and so I was asked to do a live sort of like link to the show with this really eccentric, amazing presenter called Demole Edun. And so we had to interview, I think Iyanya or someone. I think it was Iyanya, the talented singer. And he asked me a question. I can't remember what the question was. I think he was like, this was live. So this was actually showing live on TV, and this was live because it was in a place called Echo Hotel.
Okay.
So it had about 5,000 people in the auditorium watching us on the screen outside as we were interviewing Iyanya. And he said something like, do you like it with the lights on or off? And I was just laughing. I was just like, I was so thrown off because I thought we'd arranged to like to talk to him about his music or whatever, and somehow it just came on, like it just started talking about, you know, bedroom antics and stuff in front of everyone. So I was like, oh my gosh, and I just froze. I just laughed.
Did you answer?
It was funny. So I was like, no comment. I think I said no comment, and he was like, we'll talk later, but that was hilarious.
I would like to know now then. Lights on or lights off, Lola?
Lights off.
Oh, okay. That's good. I won't dig deep. Who have been your role models, or who do you look up to in the industry?
Wow. I mean, I really like, this might sound so cliche, but I like Wendy Williams a lot. I just think she is so comical, but she's very hardworking. I think I like her work ethic. You know, I was reading up about her, and apparently in the whole like 25 years of her doing her show, she hasn't hardly taken a day off work. You know, she loves what she does, and she's just grown from, you know, doing radio to having a show that has like how many seasons. I mean, it's not really I don't know if there's any other female host who has had a show as successful as hers. I mean, there's definitely Oprah, but with Wendy, it's like she's in a category of her own, and I just love the fact that she's so brave.
I could definitely agree with Wendy Williams. She doesn't seem to be in competition with anybody else. I think with Oprah is in a league of her own, of course, but with Oprah, she was around at a time with Barbara Walters and stuff like this, but no one's really doing what Wendy is doing. What lessons have you learnt now that you wish you knew at the beginning?
Just learnt to be very prayerful, because there were times when, as much as it seemed like it was fun flying around, you know, interviewing celebrities, getting access to these events and going backstage, it was really cool, but there were times when it was very sort of draining, like you're working so hard, and then people were saying very mean things, because especially, like, I remember there was a time when I had to work with a Nollywood director, and I was assisting him on a film, and this was in England and in Nigeria, and he was very vocal about my skin, being a dark skinned woman. He was just saying stuff like, oh, it'll be really hard to like you, and, you know, okay, I think you should play the role of a tramp, and he was basically saying that because of my skin. And I kind of realized that in the industry, you know, sometimes you might not get that role or that presenting job because of the way you look, simply. Like, so I've had some kind of verbal abuse from the industry that I loved, but yeah, I think I just learned over that time to just constantly block out these kind of things and just be confident in who I am. And the lessons that I wish I had known when I started was that you should never compare yourself. You know, you should never compare yourself to anybody. Sorry, it gets a bit... You should never compare yourself to anyone, because everybody's journey is different. And there were times when I was thinking, my career isn't really going the way I want it to go, because I was looking at other girls and I was just thinking, oh, they've got these endorsements, they've got this, and then that's when the whole insecure thing started to kick in again, that, you know, that 15-year-old Lola that was not really sure of herself. And I remember sitting in my room one time, in my bedroom, I was just like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Like, I just don't feel I don't feel beautiful, I don't feel talented, I don't think I can do this job anymore. The shy Lola's kicking in, and then I literally became a recluse. I've been through so much, but I wish back then I wish I could just tell myself that, Lola, you don't need to compare yourself to anyone, you're in a league of your own. So
there's a lot of stuff in the media at the moment that's talking about diversity, inclusion, and you've spoken about some of the things that you had to endure being a darker skinned woman, having shorter hair. Do you think much has changed since then?
I think especially in England, now there's just so many schemes. They're doing so many things to try and get people into these positions. And I mean, if you just look at even what's happening with what happened with the whole Black Panther movement, the reason why it was so, if you ask people about the film, they probably won't even be able to tell you about the film unless they've seen it, but they can tell you about the movement, because it's like, it's just so surreal to see a superhero film just made of predominantly black characters and powerful black characters, and the whole phenomenon with the film just goes to show how non-diverse our industry is and the issues that it's caused. But I think now things are definitely changing. In Nigeria, I do think that things are changing as well, because if we call a spade, there were some people could argue that there were some aspects of colorism, even in London.
Yeah.
Around the world, typically, many could say that lighter skinned women are favoured, that with the lighter skin, with the longer hair, but I like to believe that things are changing now, because now people are just saying, you know what, whether I've got short hair or dark skin or whatever, I'm not going to allow your views to say I can't be what I want to be. So you might not necessarily have to be on TV now, you can be on YouTube and be a big influencer, so yeah, I think things are changing.
You've mentioned things about being prayerful and your spiritual journey, and you said you're ending, the word that you used to describe that was belief. I know that you're from a Christian background.
Yeah.
I know that your dad is a preacher, pastor, shall we call him?
Pastor,
a pastor. You grew up in the church.
Yeah.
So what did your parents have to say about this career choice? Are they supportive? Do they mind? Do they have any concerns?
They were really supportive. My dad especially. In fact, both of my parents were very supportive, but I just remember my dad was, would sit me down and talk to me and be like, yeah, I'm encouraging you with this. Because at that time, even when I went to University of Nottingham, I remember some of the international students from Nigeria, when I told them I'm studying film and TV studies, they were like, wow, my parents could never allow me to go to uni to study film or media, because they were doing all chemical engineering and law and, medicine and all that kind of stuff. But I've never at any point felt like my parents have never supported me. They've always been like, wow, well done, this is exciting, because this is something that they're not used to. So they're looking at me, and especially when they saw me on TV, they were just like, oh, always praying for me and encouraging me. So yeah, they were very supportive. Do you have any? Quite an interesting relationship. There's quite a big age gap between us. There's 8 years.